Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video I'm gonna show you guys how to do the shawl here. This is just a regular triangle shawl that I call CellBlock, just because of the pattern that I created to do it here. So as you can see, it pretty much alternates from a mesh like this to a block and then a mesh, and each of these boxes are alternated differently. Okay, so I will obviously show you guys in the pictures here so you see it how it fits, but this is what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do. I'm going to use a small sample because it's a big project that takes a while to do, so I will use a little sample to show you guys how to do this. Okay, so grab any of your two favorite colors, or one color if you want, or multiple colors if you want, but grab some colors, and then I will show you guys how to do this in a sample size. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay my lovelies, so before we continue, I'm going to show you the materials that I'm using. I'm going to show you the yarn that I'm using for the sample, but the remaining of the materials are the same. So this yarn here, I don't have any more of it because I used it all on the project here. So this is exactly from the same brand, it's just a little bit of a different color. So these two colors are from Azurite, 100% acrylic. It's 50 grams for this skein like this, or 140 meters. Recommended hook size for this yarn is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook, and for this color here it's 31875. Okay, so this one here, for these ones here, I don't have the labels anymore for these colors, but it's the same company that goes by color number as opposed to color name, but obviously you will know the colors that you want to use for your project. Okay, so I'm keeping this here because I'm going to be referencing it a lot, since I'm only using a sample since I'm only doing a sample for you guys. The crochet hook size I'm using is a little bit on the bigger size. It's a H8 US 5 millimeter crochet hook, and then I'm also having a scissors here. If you want to determine the length that you're doing, make sure you have a tape measure as well to be able to determine your sizes. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get started. So for this sample that I'm doing, so just to talk a little bit about this one here. So this is a very long shawl. I think it's about 70 inches long, so it's quite long. And so what I did to get this length here is I started by doing a chain of 270. Okay, so 270 chains to do my main one here. And the 270 is pretty much I do it in sets of 10 rows, 10 stitches. So I do 10 stitches because I want these, 30 stitches. So I want this here to be 30 stitches on each of these blocks. Okay, so I did 30 here, 30 here, and then I just did that until I wanted to have the length. So 270 chains that I did this with 2 chains at the end for my starting chains, for my working chains. Okay, so when you do yours, you have to determine what length you want it to be, and then you will do the number of blocks here that will equate to that. So like I said, this one here is about 70 inches. It's quite long. Okay, so for the sample that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to make it a lot smaller. I'm going to do it in blocks of 10 as opposed to 30, and in those blocks of 10 I am going to do 3 altogether. So I'll do 30 stitches, so that I have this section here, this section here, and this section here that I'm going to show you. And of course with this one here, there's a lot more. I have 9 blocks altogether for this one here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. So I have my yarn, and also I'm just gonna use one yarn to show you guys how to do that as opposed to changing the colors. Sorry, one color as opposed to changing the color. So I'm gonna start by doing a slip knot here, and then I'm gonna start my chain of 30 for this sample. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 20. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 8, 9, 30. Okay, so this is my chain of 30 here for my sample. I'm gonna add 2 chains for my turning chain. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to work on that 3rd chain from the hook, and in the back I'm going to complete a double crochet just like that. And then I'm going to go into the next and I'm going to complete a double crochet, and then into the next I'm going to complete a double crochet, and I'm going to make sure I have 10 stitches before I change my stitches. Okay, so we're going to have 3 blocks all together here. So we're going to have a solid block, a mesh block in the middle, and then a solid block at the end. And of course, depending on how many stitches you did all together, you're going to alternate that however you want them to be alternated. I may do a scarf in the future, like just a normal scarf in the future using this stitch. That way I can actually show the whole thing on camera. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then, okay, and I will do the 10th one, and then we're gonna start to do a mesh section of it in the middle, and then we'll finish it off with a solid part of it at the end. So I'm gonna quickly show you guys that. So after here I do that, and then now I have my 10 stitches here, and then I'm gonna chain 1, and I'm gonna skip this next stitch. In the next one I'm gonna do a double crochet because now I'm starting my mesh section of the project. I'm going to do a double crochet, chain 1, skip this stitch right here. In the next stitch right here, do a double crochet, and I'm going in the back loop of the chains, just like I did the first part of it here. And then do a chain 1, skip a stitch, go in the next stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, and do a double crochet. And you want to make sure there's also 10 stitches that you do here. So there's where we skipped, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 with where I'm going into the stitch here. Okay, and then if you look at the end, if we count from this end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm going to do a chain 1 here, skip this stitch, and in the next one here I'm going to do my double crochet. And then from that point on, I do double crochets, regular double crochets, all the way to the end. And we're still working in the back loop of our chains here. So we're not doing anything different here. Okay. And if you're doing a long project, just like my main one here, then you will just alternate this here until you come to the very end of however many, how many chains you did. And like I said, I went by blocks of 30. So there's 30 stitches right here, and then there's 30 stitches right here, and then there's 30 stitches here, 30 stitches, and then I just continue to alternate that all the way because I wanted my blocks to be quite wide as well, quite big. Okay, so I'll do this like this all the way to the end. And then when I get to the end, I will repeat this for many rows, and then until you have the pretty much the square. So what I did with my main work here is I have squares. So this is a complete square here. I think I have 30 rows if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sorry. Actually, let's count on this side because I do have less rows on one side because I ran out of this yarn. So the intention was to do, I think, let me count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 rows. So 20 rows, and then that gives me this exact square here. So as you can see, it's a nice wide square. And then I alternated that by changing how I did it a little bit. Okay, so again, we do a chain 2 at the end, we turn, and then in the next stitch right here we do normal double crochets. Okay, so I just go in here and do my normal double crochet into the next stitch, normal double crochet, and I do this all the way until I get to where I need to do the meshes, and then I will switch and do the meshes, and I do that until I have the square here, until this became a square. So in this case, until I reach 20 rows that created my square, and then I changed it and started to do the opposite a little bit. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, so as you can see, I've just finished my last block here of double crochet, and then now I'm going to chain one and go skip this chain one, and then go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet, chain one, go on top of the, skip this and go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet, chain one, skip this and go into the next and do a double crochet, and I continue this until I do my last double crochet right there. I'm just gonna fix my yarn here so I can show you how to do this row, and then I will have you guys work a few rows, and then when you have that completed, I will show you how to do the opposite of this, which is why I changed the color. So the color change, I started to do it a little bit different just to create these boxes that are piling up on top of each other like this. And then I will chain one and then go on top of this and do a double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, go on top of the double crochet, do a double crochet, chain one, skip the chain one, go on top of the double crochet, do a double crochet, and then I pretty much complete this row by doing normal double crochets. And again, if you're doing the big work, there's a block of 30 per block like this, and then you have to do this 9 times. So there's 9 different blocks of 30 that you have to do altogether. Okay, so I do this all the way to the end here. So I'm just gonna show you guys how to do this final row, and then I will. Okay, so that's how it looks like so far. And then I will just do again chain 2, turn, and then go ahead and do another row of double crochet, and then I continue this. So what I will do for the sake of this sample here is I will do 2 more to make 4, just for the sample purposes, and then I'll come back to show you how to do it different. And that would also be the spot where you would change the color if you're changing the color. I will not change the color in this case here because I'm just doing the sample here. Okay, so do as many rows as you want. If you're practicing with the sample here just to see how you would do, go ahead and do it the exact same way that I'm doing. But for you, it would take quite a while to complete these 20 rows here, because there's a long way to go to complete each of these blocks here. And then when you've created a square, nice square like this, then you can come back and I will show you how to change it so that we can change the color, and also how to change to do the different stitch like this. Okay, see you guys in a bit. For the sample, I just do 2 more rows and I'll be right back. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed 4 rows for the sample here. So as you can see, I'm going to now reverse the way I do my pattern here, where this section here is going to be mesh, this section here on top of this section here is going to be solid, and then on top of this section is going to be mesh. So this is pretty much to emulate this here. So as you can see again, I changed the color in the middle here to do this section here to now become mesh. So on top of the solid, I do the mesh, and then I'll literally do the exact opposite again later. So there's these 3 blocks of different the pattern changes here from this here to this pattern to this pattern, and then you will see that it's the opposite for the next block like this, and then the next part of it is the opposite again. So we repeat this so that we can now create these blocks of the solid and the patches of the mesh. Okay, so assuming that this is now my 20 rows to create my square like this, I'm going to now change the stitch to do the mesh on top of this, and by doing that I'm going to start by a chain of 3. And with this chain of 3, the first 2 chains count as a double crochet, and then the chain 1 is a chain 1, because we need to do a chain 1 between our work. So now that I've done this, I'm going to skip this stitch here. So I just want to make sure I have enough stitches here. So this stitch is where this one is coming, so I'm going to go into this one and complete a double crochet, and then I'm going to chain one and then skip this stitch and go into the next and complete a double crochet, chain one, skip this stitch and go into the next stitch and complete a double crochet, chain one, skip this stitch, and in the next here go ahead and do a double crochet like this. Okay, so this is how this first section looks like. And then I'm going to now work into the rest of it here by going into it and doing solids. So instead of doing a chain one and skipping, I'm going to go into the chain one from the previous spot and do a double crochet. And then on top of the double crochet, I will do a double crochet. And then on the chain one spot, just go underneath the chain one spot and do a double crochet. And then on top of the double crochet, do a double crochet. And then I just repeat this along this section that was previously mesh is now going to be solid. Okay, so and you do this for all the 30 stitches that you have for the mesh, and then you do it for 30 stitches that you have for the solid, and everything you're reversing everything to be the opposite of the previous block of your work. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm going through and just completing solids like that. And then now that I have completed this, I'm going to go into this stitch here and complete a double crochet. Actually, I'm going to do a chain one, skip this stitch, in the next stitch do a double crochet, because now we're reversing it and doing solids. And then I'm going to do a chain one, skip a stitch, do a double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, do a double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, do a double crochet, chain one, and then here you need to skip this stitch here, and on top of the stitch, the chain two from the previous row, which is another stitch, you're going to go on top of that and complete a double crochet, just like this. Okay, so now as you can see, starting to have this mesh building up on top of this, and then you're going to start by doing a chain of 3 because we're still doing the mesh part. You're going to skip the chain one on top of the previous chain one. You're going to do a double crochet, chain one, skip the chain one previously, go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet. And so I'm not going to show you how to do this a long way here. So you're going to do this here, and as soon as you do your double crochet here, you do the rest of it in double crochet until here, and then chain one and continue to do the mesh on top. And then do this 4 more times because I'm doing the rows of 4. I'm going to do this 4 times, and then I'll come back to show you how to do the third block on the side, which is to reverse these again and go back to doing the solid in the first 10 stack of it, and then we continue to do that to create the pattern that I have on my shawl. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and complete these 4 rows of this. So this is my second one. I will do two more after I finish this, then I'll come back to the video to show you how that looks like. Okay, my lovelies, so I completed the next 4 rows here to create the next set of block here. So as you can see, I have solid and I have a mesh here, and it reverses here, and then it reverses on the other side as well. So again, for my actual shawl here, I just completed this section. So this section is what we consider this section to be, and then this section is this, and then I'm going to go in and do the solid on the other side to finish it off. Okay, and like I said again, I do 20 rows of this, with the exception of the last year. I think I did only 14 rows because I ran out of the yarn, this yarn here, and I did not want to go get a whole box because this yarn here comes in a set of 10, and I did not want to go get a set of 10 just to use one to complete this project here. So I just left it like this. But yeah, it would definitely be these equal parts of the project here. Okay, and by the way, where we also change the pattern here is where you would have changed the color as well. So I didn't show you how to change the color because I didn't change the color on my sample, but that's where you would have changed the color. And you guys by this point know how to change the color. You just cut your yarn here, and then you install the different color to start the next row. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do the final block here. And this final block is going to be in the sample, it's going to be what this final one here on the end would be in the project itself. So again, I do a chain of 2 here because now we're starting with the block row, and then I go into the chain 1 spot and I complete a double crochet, and then on top of the double crochet I complete a double crochet, and then under the chain 1 spot complete a double crochet. On top of the double crochet I will complete a double crochet, under the chain 1 a double crochet, on the double crochet I complete a double crochet, and then finally in the chain 1 I do a double crochet. And then now I'm going to do a double crochet here because that is still part of this side of the stitches, and then I am going to go ahead and complete my chain, my chain 1, skip this stitch, in the next stitch do a double crochet, chain 1, skip, go into the next and do a double crochet, chain 1, skip, go into the next and do a double crochet, chain 1. And then as you guys see, this is the same as we did with this section here, and then you're going to do this all the way to the end. And I'm going to show you guys a walk around here. So as you can see, I did a double crochet here, but then when I come, if I do my double crochet right here like this, it leaves this section open like this. So which means I would start my double crochet from here. It's a little bit too far. So you can either do this and then you just do your double crochet in the next here, because you cannot do another skip here and continue like this. So this is another workaround, or another workaround is go all the way to where you started, and instead of putting your double crochet here, start your mesh from right here. Do a chain 1, skip this stitch here, go into the next and do a double crochet, chain 1. And this is just a workaround because even when I was working with this particular, the big one here, I came across something like this and I just worked around it by doing exactly what I just showed you guys here. And this is because this is not a pattern I'm following from anywhere. This is just a freestyling that I'm doing on my own. So there's no written stitch that says do exactly this, do exactly that. And then this way it matches. So now I can do my double crochet here, and now it looks like this. Okay, and then you're going to pretty much go into the next chain 1, and then skip the chain 1 spot here, go into the next. We're done with the mesh. We are now going to just go into this stitch here and do a double crochet, and then into the next stitch do a double crochet, and then in the next, the chain 1 gap, do a double crochet, and then you just continue this pattern like this. So we're gonna do this all the way to the end, and then I will work my remaining 3 rows. Well, you guys work as many as you need to for your full project, and then I will go ahead and complete the video with you guys. But it's probably good to just watch this sample without working on anything, and then putting the video away and then doing the work itself on your own. Okay, so this is how this looks like. So I'm gonna chain 2, turn, and then do my double crochets, do the meshes just like we've been doing, and I'll do 3 more rows here, and then when I come back I will show you how the sample looks like, and then obviously that would be representing what the full job here is like. Okay, so I'll see you guys when you have completed the number of rows here. I'll do 3 more and I'll come right back. Okay, my lovelies, so I completed the 4 rows for the end here. So this is where I'm gonna end the sample. Okay, so this is pretty much what I created for this guy here in a sample form, just to show you guys how to alternate the stitches to be able to get these blocks like this. And of course, like I said, I did mine in a lot bigger than this because it's a very large shawl that I did. So this is how it would look like, but obviously bigger. So I'm going to put these away so we can go ahead and talk a little bit about this, so you can kind of get a better idea. Because at this point, if you like it, you will probably want to do one for yourself. So I'm just going to place it down like this. Okay, so again, we start with this block here, and then we went to the middle, and this is why I changed the color, and I like that I changed the color like this. And you can choose any colors of your choice, obviously, and then you go to the final block. And again, not that this is what I intended, I have less rows for the final one because I didn't have enough to complete the 20 rows here. So I only had 14 rows on the end one here. Okay, so this is again how it kind of layers out with the differences here. In terms of the width here, I'm just gonna grab a tape measure because some of you will probably ask what the width is. I'm gonna do the width, and then obviously if you include the other 6 remaining rows at the end, yours is gonna be a little bit larger. So let me just grab my tape measure. Okay, so I have my tape measure here, and I usually use inches to measure. So if I measure it here, you don't see it completely on camera, so but my 1 is right here, and then my 26 is all the way on the end here. So I have 26, but if I was to add the remaining 6 rows here, it would probably come up to about 30 inches. Okay, so my width here is 30 inches, and the length is quite long. I already measured that, and it's about 70 inches long. Okay, so as you can see, this is how long it is. It goes all the way like this, and you can use this stitch to just do a normal scarf, or you can also use it to do a blanket if you want to, or anything else. Honestly, I just wanted to do this for this shawl. Okay, all right, so I hope you enjoyed this project here. Thank you so much for watching the video to the end, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like and share. Okay, see you guys in the next one. Bye.